students, welcome back. Today I am Anuradha from Arden Progressive School, going to start another chapter, that is chapter number 2, biological classification. So in the previous classes we have done the first chapter, the living world, in which we have done the characteristics of life as well as about the biodiversity. And what do you understand by biodiversity? That on this earth we are having so many different types of species are present, living species are present. Okay, and for that we have done the taxonomy, in which we have done about the classification. So scientifically how we are going to classify it and how we are going to categorize it, right? So here we will understand that how we will go for the classification. Okay, again diversity is more on this earth, so it is required that it should be scientifically classified, and for that we have done, what is it? CICN, short form. C for characterization, I for identification, C for classification, and then nomenclature. So like this, these are the steps which we have to do for the classification of living organisms. So here what we are going to do, whatever the species, okay, whether it's a plant species, animal species, microorganisms, we have to classify all of them. And how we will classify? On the basis of their characteristics. So here there are three systems of classification. What are they? Artificial system of classification, then the natural system of classification, and then phylogenetic system of classification. So here in the artificial system, what is happening? They are giving basis, or they are giving preference to the morphological characteristics. So what is happening in this system of classification? That they are studying about the gross morphology. It means that the outer appearance, right? They don't have classified the things on the basis of the internal part. And then after there will be the natural system of classification, in which they are considering some more thing inside the organisms, right? And the last one is the phylogenetic system of classification. This is very important, because here along with this all morphological as well as the anatomical and the biochemical, we are considering the evolutionary relationship also. Okay, so how the organism, they are connected with their ancestors. Okay, so in this part we will understand that how this system of classification has been done by the different scientists. Okay, so here if I will talk about the classification, so the first time the classification done by the Aristotle. This question is very important, that the first time scientifically who has initiated the classification system? By the Aristotle. And we know the Aristotle is father of biology as well as the other one. Okay, and here what he did here, initially he classified the organisms, all the organisms which is present on this earth, and the plants as well as animals. Okay, how they have classified? On the basis of their characteristics, right? So here first of all what he did, he classified the organism into plant as well as animals. Again, in case of plants, they have classified three different types of plants. Okay, how? The first one herbs, then second shrubs, and another one is trees. Okay, so on the basis of the morphological characteristics, they have divided the plant which is present on this earth. So what are the herbs? They consider that all the short plants, okay, which are not having any woody part, they consider it as a herb. And all the plants which are having the bushy nature, okay, in which there is no main stem and there will be somehow more woody part than the herbs. And in trees they consider that all the plants which is having the taller height and having the main stem also as a woody one, which you will call the trunk. Okay, so this is what the tree. So likewise, on the basis of their only external characters, they have classified. Okay, as well as he classified the animals how on the basis of RBC. Okay, so RBC is what? Red blood cells. So here he considered that those animals which is having the RBC, they said them enema, and those animals they don't have the RBC, he called them enema. Okay, A for absent. So how they have classified? On the basis of the RBC. And how they have classified the plants? On the basis of morphology. So these are the different bases of classification in case of plants and animals. So you can see it here, it's not that much scientific. Okay, as well as they have classified animals on the basis of their habitat. Okay, how that those animals, those who are dwelling in water, they said these are the water or the aquatic animals. Those who are dwelling on the land, they have said the terrestrial one, and those who are living in the air, aerial animals, right? So they don't have given such scientific, but yes, they have started something about the classification. So the credit goes to the Aristotle, that he has started the scientific classification in the on the basis of their morphological study, right? So as the research goes on, okay, so initially there was no microscope, so people don't know much more about the internal part. Okay, they don't know about the cell, what is about the nuclear membrane, nothing. It was there. So that's why initially they have started with the morphological character. So as there was a discovery of some more cells, some more organisms will be there, and some invention of the microscope, with the help of these things classification will be more fine. So after the Aristotle, who came here? Linnaeus. Okay, again very important contribution of Linnaeus in other aspect also, as we have done in case of binomial nomenclature. Okay, it also given by what? By the Linnaeus here. So Linnaeus, he gave the two kingdom classification. So here we can say the first classification is what? It is an artificial system of classification in which we have studied about only the gross morphological characteristics, right? So as we are moving towards the two kingdoms classification, what we are considering? We are considering some more characteristics. Okay, so likewise we will call it the natural system of classification, because now we are considering some natural things, right here. So here, what are the bases on which we have done the two system of classification? These are nutrition, cell wall, locomotion, and response to stimuli. So one by one we will understand it here how they are different. So the two kingdom classification says that there will be two kingdoms. One will be the plant kingdom and one will be the animal kingdom, right here. So it was given in 1758 by the Linnaeus here, and here what he said, all the things which are preparing their own food. Okay, so first basis is what? About the nutrition. So all the organisms which are preparing their own food, they have placed into the plant kingdom. Okay, and those who are not preparing their own food, they placed into the animal kingdom, right? Then along with the cell wall, so he observed the cell wall, whether cell wall is present or whether cell wall is absent. So he classified it. If cell wall is present, it will comes under the plant kingdom. If cell wall is absent, it will come under the animal kingdom. Okay, likewise about the locomotion. Locomotion is what? Those organisms they are placed at one place. They don't move from one place to another. They said they are the plant, and those animals, they can move from one place to another place. They said these will come under the animal kingdom. Okay, likewise response to stimuli. If any stimuli is there, so how much they are responding? We know that both plants as well as they are responding to their stimuli. Okay, but if I will compare the animal, it is responding more. It is responding fast as compared to the plant. Okay, so those who are responding slower, we have placed into the plant kingdom, and those who are responding very fast, they kept into the animal kingdom. So likewise they have classified, okay, all the organisms. So you can say that under the plant kingdom we are having all such type. For example, they have said all the algae, all the bacteria, all the fungi, everything will comes under the plant kingdom, and all the animals we have considered, they have considered into the animal kingdom. So these are what? There are some demerits of this two kingdom classification. What are demerits? It means that they don't give any scientific idea. If I will compare with today's classification, we know that plants, they can make their own food, but the fungi, they are dependent on others, right? So here they have placed the fungi also under the plant kingdom. So this is not the suitable classification. One problem is there. Likewise, there are so many problems in this two kingdom classification. If I will say about the prokaryotic and the eukaryotic. Prokaryotic are what? Those do not have any nucleus. They are the prokaryotic cells. Okay, these are the primitive one. Eukaryote having the true nucleus. Okay, so what they have done, they have kept both prokaryotic, because bacteria comes under the prokaryotic, as well as in eukaryotic plants are there. So what they have done, they have kept both bacteria and plants under the plant kingdom. Okay, again it's not right. So we can say both, they have placed both the things under the same kingdom. Likewise, unicellular and multicellular. Okay, so here what is happening? Unicellular is what? Chlamydomonas, and multicellular is what? About the Spirogyra. So again they have placed both the things under the kingdom plantae, right? Again, autotrophic and heterotrophic. We know that plants are autotrophic, and what about the fungi? It is heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So they have placed again in the same kingdom, and these are the merits which should not be under this two kingdom classification, and it will be cleared by the another system of classification. Okay, as well as there are some exceptions also. What about the Euglena? Euglena is what? It is showing the both the characteristics. It will act as the autotrophic as well as heterotrophic. That's why there is a mixotrophic nutrition. Okay. Likewise, there are so many examples by which we can say that these animals or these things should not consider as a one, because they are possessing some different characteristics. Okay. So here two kingdom system classification is there. After it, they have introduced the three kingdom classification. So introduction of this three kingdom classification, and it was proposed by whom? By the Ernest Haeckel, okay, in 1866. Again, in three kingdom classification, it is the finest form as compared to the two kingdom classification. How it is so? Because we have added one more kingdom, that is the Protista. What we have done? We have included, or the Ernest Haeckel included one more kingdom, Protista. In this Protista, what is coming here? All the organisms, they are unicellular. It means the Protista will be single cell, as well as they are the eukaryotic. It means that Protista are those ones which is having the true nucleus, but they are the unicellular organism. For example, we can say amoeba. Okay, so all these things comes under the Protista. So they have given one more kingdom specially for those organisms, those who are what? They are the unicellular as well as the eukaryotic. Okay, and plantae kingdom, all the things algae, still there is one problem. They have included the fungi in the plant kingdom only. Okay, again there will be some more problem in this three kingdom classification which should be sorted out, right? So here what we have done, they have introduced one more kingdom in which they gave the place to the animals which are having the single cell and those who are having the true nucleus. Okay, so next one, it is what? Four kingdom classification. Now they have introduced four kingdom classification to make it more finest. Why it is so? Because still now some of the organisms, they are not getting position according to their characteristics. Okay, they are situated or they are getting placed in those kingdom in which they are not resembling their characteristics. Okay, so here as four kingdom classification proposed by whom? By the Copeland in 1956. Okay, and what he did, he added one more kingdom, that is known as the Monera. Okay, before that four kingdom classification and three kingdom classification, they don't have placed a good place for the bacteria, because monerans are what? These are the bacteria. So they have included bacteria in the existing kingdom. So in this four kingdom classification, they have added one more kingdom, that is the Monera. Monera are what? They are the prokaryotes. Okay, prokaryotes, it's a primitive form. It do not have any true nucleus, as well as they are having the single cell. So till now we are not getting place for the bacteria, and that's why in the two kingdom classification we have placed into the kingdom Plantae. In three kingdom classification also we have placed into the other kingdom, but here in the four kingdom classification we have given a specific place, that is known as Monera, and rest of the things will remain same: Protista, Plantae, and Animalia. So what you are observing here, still fungi do not have any proper place. They have considered the fungi still under the kingdom Plantae, but it is not showing the characteristic, because plant kingdom having the autotrophic mode of nutrition, but in case of the fungi, it is having the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Okay, so still this four kingdom classification is far better than the other two kingdom or the three kingdom. Okay, and here we have done about the artificial system of classification, and these are the natural system of classification. Okay, so nowadays we are adopting what type of classification? Five kingdom classification. This is the most acceptable classification system. So now here we will understand that what is about the five kingdom classification, and this kingdom of classification given by the R.H. Whittaker. Okay, this question is again very important from the examination point of view. Why? Because it is the most acceptable classification given by R.H. Whittaker in 1969. So this classification system, they are assuming the phylogenetic classification also. Okay, because they are considering the evolutionary relationship. So we can say that it is following what type of classification system? The third classification system, that is known as the phylogenetic system of classification. Okay, so here what we have done, till the four kingdom classification we were having the Monera, okay, Protista, Plantae, and Animalia. And the problem was that what about the fungi? Where we have kept this fungi? Still it was not placed at a proper kingdom. So here in this five kingdom classification, they have sorted out the problem, and what he did, he gave the kingdom fungi for all the fungi, right? It means that those who are what? These are the multicellular organism, as well as they are the eukaryotes. Okay, and before that what is happening? The cellular organism somehow different. So if cell organization is different, so that's why we have given different kingdom for the fungi right here. So now how many kingdom we are having? Monera for what? Monera, they are the for the bacteria. Protista for the we can say the amoeba like these organisms, okay, which are what? These are the single cellular, or we can say unicellular, as well as they are the eukaryotes. Okay, and about the fungi, it contains what? They contains the all cell which is having the multicellular, okay, as well as they are the eukaryotes. And what about the Plantae? Again Plantae, they are the multicellular, and Animalia, they are also the multicellular. So what you are observing from this kingdom classification, the life originates from the single cell. Okay, bacteria is what? It is a single cell, and from here the life is forming to the Animalia kingdom, which is the multicellular. So it means that all the organisms which are present like this, they are coming, or they are showing, or they are evolving from the ancestor. It means that from the initial part. Okay, so all the organisms, they are coming from where? From the single cell. Okay, now again we are having this basis of classification in five kingdom classification. What are the bases? The cell structure, body organization, mode of nutrition, reproduction, phylogenetic relationship. So this basis of classification is very important, which is about the five kingdom classification. So what do you understand by cell structure? It means that how the cell look like. Okay, so what we can say, that whether cell is prokaryotic or whether the cell is eukaryotic. And we know that what is the difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic? It means that prokaryotic means primitive nucleus. It means that prokaryotes do not have nucleus. Okay, and about the eukaryotes, they are having the proper nucleus, right? Then another one is the body organization. Body organization means that whether it is single cell body or it is a multicellular body. Okay, so on the basis of that we have classified 5 kingdom. Okay, and third one is the mode of nutrition, whether the mode of nutrition is autotrophic or the heterotrophic. Okay, then comes to the reproduction, whether they are reproducing asexually or sexually, right? Phylogenetic relationship, that how they are resembling some characteristic from the previous one. Okay, so this is the evolutionary with the ancestral one. So they have considered all the characters. That's why this one is very good classification system, and one by one we will discuss about these characters in the different kingdom. Okay, now again we are having the 6 kingdom classification. So this is not anything big here, but acceptably we are using the 5 kingdom classification. So according to the 6 kingdom classification, what they have done, they have introduced they have expanded the kingdom Monera. Okay, what they have done, they have expanded the kingdom Monera into 2 parts. What they have done, into the Archaebacteria, because Monerans are what? These are the bacteria. So the bacteria which are present from the primitive time. Okay, the older bacteria, they said them Archaebacteria. Archae means something which is old. So these are what? Archaebacteria, and the new one is the Eubacteria. So Archaebacteria are what? We know that some of the bacteria which is present where into the hot glacier, hot places, okay, hot springs. So what we are calling them, like halophiles, thermophiles, okay, thermoacidophiles, or the methanogens. Okay, the bacteria which is present inside the animals, all they are what? They are the primitive one, right? And the eubacteria are what? The bacteria like we are studying here, mycoplasma, everything will comes under this eubacteria, right here. So again we will study that in the 6th kingdom classification there will be 3 domains. Okay, so what they have done, they have formed the 3 domains system. So what are the 3 domains? Archaea, bacteria, and eukarya. Okay, so this archaea and bacteria, these are what? These are the monerans. Okay, and this eukaryote is what? Rest of the things, protista, fungi, plantae, animalia. All these 4 will come under which domain? Under domain eukarya. So what you have to memorize here? Who has given the 6th kingdom classification? Carl Woese in 1990. And what he did? He gave 3 domains. Under the first domain and second domain, it will comes under the Monera. So they have expanded the Monera into the Archaebacteria as well as the Eubacteria, right? And the third one will be the Eukarya, in which rest of the kingdom will come here, like Protista, fungi, plantae, and animalia. Okay, otherwise it is somehow similar to the 5 kingdom classification, and we are going to consider that system only. Okay, so the basis which we have done here, we will understand one by one. See here, this diagram is very easier to understand. How it is so? We know that life starts from where? From the prokaryotes. So in this earth, what is happening? Initially there was only the prokaryotes. Okay, and prokaryotes are what? They are the bacteria. So we have started from where? From the prokaryote. Now step by step there will be evolution. Okay, what happened? As evolution has been done, what happens? The complexity of the body will also get increased. Okay, very common example about the mobile phones. Those mobile phones which was started in earlier, it was do not have any complex functions, but as we are observing as the generation is going on, we are having so advanced mobile phones. Okay, initially it was 2G, 3G, 4G. So likewise, what is happening? Generation after generation, there will be some more advancement, and this advancement is leading to what? Complexity in the organism. So we can say initially the organisms, they were not that much complex. It means that single cell was there. Okay, and these are what? These are the primitive nucleus. It means that they do not have proper nucleus. Cell is there, but they don't have proper nucleus. So instead of nucleus, they are having some nucleus like structure which is known as the nucleoid. Okay, so what will the characteristics of prokaryote? It is the cell structure. So initially cell structure will start from where? From the prokaryote. So if there will be advancement, initial advancement, what is going to happen? This prokaryote will will transform into the eukaryotes. And what are the eukaryotes? Eukaryotes, they are having the true nucleus. Okay, so what is happening from here? It is moving ahead and they are forming the cell which is having the true nucleus, right? As well as now it is moving further. Okay, what we are observing here, cell structure is prokaryotic and here cell structure is eukaryotic. It means that whatever the step will take place to the above part, all they are the eukaryotes. Okay, so the above organism, all they will be the eukaryotes, right? So this is about the cell structure. Now comes to the body organization. Body organization can be single cell or the multi-cell. So you can see it here, initially it was a single cell, right? If we will move from this prokaryotes to eukaryotes, still some organism they are having the single cell. Okay, and some will get advanced and they will form again some single cell. Okay, again there will be advancement and it will form the multi-cell. Okay, there will be multicellular organisms. What you are noticing here, that initially the organisms they are prokaryotes as well as the single cell, and in eukaryotes they are having the true nucleus. Here nucleus is present as well as body is single cell. As well as we are moving ahead, then what is happening? It is having some unicellular structure. Okay, and then comes to the multicellular. Multicellular are what? They are the most advanced form, in which what is happening? The cell structure is what? It can be the eukaryotes. Okay, so as we are moving from, so uppermost will be the eukaryotes as well as the multicellular organism, and this is a good example of human beings also. Okay, so now just see here what is happening. Initially complexity of cells will be prokaryotes as well as, so who will come here? Probacteria. Okay, so the first kingdom, that is the Monera. Okay, it is having the that it is not having that much complexity, that's why they are the prokaryotes. Okay, now when they are moving from Monera to Protista, what you are noticing here, the body will get some more advanced. Okay, so what is happening? The cell will form the tissue. Okay, tissue to form organ, organ to organ system. So complexity of the organism will be some more. What will be the complexity? Now all the Protista, they are the eukaryotes because they have started the eukaryotic cells, as well as they are the unicellular. So this is the key feature of what? Protista. This question is very important. Protista are what? They are unicellular and they are the eukaryotes. Okay, now ahead, if we are moving upward into the fungi, plantain, animalia. Okay, all these are what? These are the higher one. Why higher one? Because they are having the multicellular body, and already eukaryotes has been started from this part only. Okay, so from Protista to onwards, what is happening? They are forming the eukaryotes, as well as their cellular organization will also get advanced. So it will become the multicellular. So plantae, fungi and animalia we have placed into the upper classification. Okay. And here you can see the mode of nutrition also. They have considered the mode of nutrition. How all the plantae, they are the autotrophic, and fungi, they are the heterotrophic, animalia as well as they are also the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Okay, it means they are dependent on others. So this is the basis. So as we are moving from downward to upward, what we are noticing, that complexity of cell is going to increase. Okay, so this is whole 5 kingdom classification. So in this table we have summed up whatever we have done till now. Okay, so these are what? These are the characters. What are these? These are the characters which we are going to notice in all 5 kingdoms, right? So if I will talk about the cell type, in case of Monera, what will be the cell type? It will be the prokaryotes. Okay, it will be what? It will be the prokaryotes. And this Protista and fungi, these are the eukaryotes. What are they? These are the eukaryotes, right here. As well as cell type can be 2. It will be the unicellular. Okay, it will be uni. It also be unicellular because we are considering from here. And all these fungi, plantain, animalia, they are what? They are the multicellular. What are they? These are the multicellular. So I am not going to write in a very fine. So only to sum up the things which we have done till now. So what is the cell wall? Cell wall, it is present where? In the plants. Okay, so in case of prokaryote, cell wall is present, but the composition of cell wall is what? Peptidoglycan. It is very important question. Peptidoglycan is present as a cell wall, and here in case of protista, there will be no cell wall. Okay, and in case of fungi, the cell wall is composed of what? It is made up of chitin. Okay, and in case of plantae, cell wall is made up of what? Cellulose. So this is the difference between these 5 kingdom classification. Okay, and in case of animal kingdom, there is no cell wall, right? Likewise, if I will talk about the nuclear membrane is what? That membrane which is surrounding the nucleus. So wherever the nucleus is present, there only nuclear membrane will be there. Okay, so in case of Monera or the prokaryotes, okay, or the bacteria, they don't have any nucleus, so it means that what is going to happen? No nuclear membrane. Okay, and from here onwards, what is going to happen? All they are the eukaryote, means that they possess the true nucleus. So everywhere nucleus will be present, right? Then comes to the body organizations. Already we have done cell type, we have completed prokaryotic, eukaryotic, and again eukaryotic. So body organization will be what? It can be made up of the single cell. Okay, in case of Monera, having single cell. In case of protista, what is going to happen? Again single cell. Then in case of fungi, multicellular, and in case of plantae, it will be multicellular, and animalia also multicellular. In case of animalia, what is happening? Cell will form tissue, tissue to form organ, organ to organ system. So these are the most advanced body. Okay, so what is going to happen? Body will be more advanced in case of animalia, and here we can say that here it is a uni one, and it is here also it is the uni, as well as in fungi it will be multi, and from here it is also a multicellular, right here. Then comes to the mode of nutrition. Mode of nutrition is what? In case of Monera, we can say that there will be what type of mode of nutrition? Heterotrophic mode of nutrition. In case of protista also, and in case of fungi, they are the heterotrophic. But in case of plantae kingdom, what is going to happen? There will be the autotrophic mode of nutrition, and in animalia it will be the heterotrophic. And what type of heterotrophic? Holozoic mode of nutrition. Okay, and specifically if I will talk about the fungi, this heterotrophic nutrition is what? It is a saprotrophic mode of nutrition, in which what is going to happen? That they are dependent on the dead and decaying part. Okay, and rest of the things about the protista are what? They are again dependent on others. Okay, like amoeba, paramecium, right? So here we can say that what is going to happen? On the basis of all these characters, we have given the place to those organisms in 5 kingdom classification. Okay, so from the next class we will start with each and every kingdom in detailed form. Again there will be some more classification under all these 5 kingdom, right? So we will understand that one. So that's all for today. Thank you.